There is no point in waiting for the rain to stop, as it will continue to rain till morning. So it would be better if we share the umbrella and I drop you home.
Don't worry, I'm fine. My house is just a short distance away. Please go ahead.
Understand what I'm saying. It's not a good idea to go out in this heavy rain without an umbrella. You should take an umbrella with me. She thinks.
It feels like the sky is mocking my mistake. This whole situation has made it almost impossible for me to escape this man. As if even God wants me to seek his help. Nejo reluctantly begins to walk with her, and then thanks her. On the way home, contrary to Naiso's expectations, the man did not say a word, although she had hoped he would want to talk.
As she walked, Naiso realized that the speed Roseboy was walking was too slow for her height. She thought of her husband, Nicole, who was also tall, but always outpaced her. For the first time, Naiso felt truly blessed to have someone taking care of her and walking with her.
Nejo asked Roseboy softly, "Your girlfriend won't like this. And what if she finds out you shared an umbrella with a stranger?"
Roseboy asked, "Who told you she's my girlfriend?"
Nice asked, "Isn't she your girlfriend, the one I saw you with at the restaurant?"
Roseboy replied, "No, she's not my girlfriend." Roseboy tells her that she's just my friend, and Nejo falls silent. Then Roseboy says again, "Believe me, she really is just my friend." But then Roseboy noticed a speeding car coming towards him. To prevent Nejo from being splashed with water, Roseboy grabbed Nejo, pulled him aside, and covered him with himself. But doing so had suddenly brought Nejo and the Roseboy very close. The Roseboy apologized, breathing lightly, in a voice almost like a whisper. "Sorry, the car was coming too fast. I was really worried you might get hurt, so I pulled you to my side." Nejo was completely stunned for a moment. Her heart raced.
Her heart raced, as if she could suddenly hear her own heartbeat. She was nervous, but somewhere deep inside her, a strange sense of belonging arose, something no one had ever felt for her before. She said softly, in a voice almost trembling, "It's okay, but..." It was a little scary. Nejo was completely shocked. She couldn't understand why he was doing so much for her. Why he always put himself before her safety. She looked down and saw her coat was completely soaked through, while barely a few drops had fallen on Kudaka's clothes. It was then that she realized he had turned his entire body toward her to shield her from the rain. A strange warmth arose in Nejo's heart, one she had never felt for herself before. Nejo thought to herself, "I have to ask him clearly. Is he interested in me? If that's really the case, then I have to draw the line right now. I can't get myself into another mess." There was fear in her heart, and also a strange hope, which she couldn't quite name. Then she gathered courage. Her voice was slow, soft, and a little shaky, as if she herself was afraid of the answer. "You." She paused, her eyes searching the Roseboy's face. "Why are you so kind to me?"
The Roseboy looked her straight in the eyes and said, "And I really want to get to know you."
Nejo immediately lowered his gaze. "No," she said softly. "There's no need for that."
The Roseboy paused, slightly furrowing his brow. "What do you mean?"
"You're young, and popular with women," he said, his voice quivering slightly. Then, "Why is a guy your age trying to date an older woman like me?"
The Roseboy said without hesitation, "If I'm young and popular with women, then why can't I be with an older woman?" But Nejo held his heart and arms.
She said softly but firmly, "No. You can't." Nejo gently raised his hand to stop her. "I'm home," she said softly. Then after a brief hesitation he added, "And thank you for driving me this far."
The Roseboy looked into her eyes, as if trying to read every emotion hidden behind her words. Then he asked, "Do you really want to remain strangers?"
Naso remained completely silent for a few seconds. Her breathing had slowed, and hesitation was clearly visible on her face. But in the end, she said the same thing. We will remain strangers. There was no breakdown, no anger on the Rose Boy's face, just a calm, cold acceptance. Okay, he said simply, and then left without looking back. The sound of his footsteps slowly faded away, and Naso stood there, completely stunned. She thought he would try to stop her, put in a little pressure, or at least ask why she said that. But the man pulled his heart back together and walked away, much more easily than Naso had expected. His final reply, strangely conciliatory, without argument, without question, shook Naso to the core. She couldn't understand whether she should feel relief, or something, the pain of loss. And then she slowly walked towards her house. But with her steps, the same question kept revolving in her mind. Why is he so interested in me? Maybe it's because he's young. And sometimes young people just chase after curiosity. Naso said to himself, maybe it's the same thing. Just a curiosity. She reached her door, took out her key, and as she opened, their eyes were fixed on something lying right below. An umbrella. At that moment, she immediately realized Mikula had forgotten to take an umbrella. In such heavy rain. He must have gotten wet himself. Naso closed her eyes for a moment. A strange silence spread within her. She knew very well when it comes to men, often they don't try hard enough, but instead become dependent on women. And if a man's wife is understanding and keen, she becomes the heart of the family, and it is the man's duty to earn, support, and sacrifice to maintain the home. Brother. The truth is, such a handsome, genuine-looking Rose Boy appeared before her, cared for her so much, got himself drenched in the rain, but Naso's heart didn't even go for him. She doesn't even think about him. No romance, no hope, no fantasy. Instead, as she slowly pays off her debt, she thinks something completely different. Maybe, when this is all over, I can think about remarrying my husband. The thought itself was sad, because the man she calls her husband, Mikul, doesn't care about her at all. Mikul doesn't hold a place for her. He pretends to the world that he's not married, as if Naso isn't a part of his life, as if being his wife is a burden, a shame. And then Naso picked up the umbrella. As her fingers touched the umbrella's handle, a sense of unease rose within her. What if he got drenched in the rain? Thinking of this, she set out, walking slowly towards his company. The night breeze brushed her face, and each step seemed to carry an unspoken worry. She walked a long distance. Several stops. After a while, she took out her phone and called him. The ringtone rang 2 or 3 times. And then suddenly, the call was disconnected. Naso stood there, her hands slowly dropping. A slight sadness crept into her eyes. It seems our paths have parted here, she said to herself. She thinks he didn't even see the message I sent. Maybe his phone battery died, but at the same time, I shouldn't have come here for someone like that without confirming it. Maybe I was overthinking it. But then, Naso's steps suddenly stop.
Her gaze involuntarily flickers forward, and what she sees is Mikul. He was coming toward her, but not alone. He had a girl with him. The two, under the same umbrella, walking very close together. So close as if they were shielding each other not from the rain, but from the world. The girl standing next to Nicole, Ari, saw Naso staring at her, and, raising a slight eyebrow, said,
Hey, what's wrong with that girl? Why is she looking at us like that?
There was less surprise in her voice, and more a hint of slight irritation. But Nikolai, as if nothing had happened, said casually,
Why did you come to pick me up in such heavy rain?
Then she looked at Eri and said,
They're just my family, a close friend, almost like a relative.
Nazo froze at the word family. For her, it was like rubbing salt on an old wound.
As Nicole said this, she moved closer to Nazo and stood under the same umbrella she had come to give him. The rain was now falling like a curtain around them. Eri couldn't understand anything. Her eyes were filled with both confusion and disagreement. Nicole said casually,
So, Ari, I'm leaving now. See you tomorrow. Bye. Then Michelle slowly turned to her and asked, Why did you come all this way? To pick me up. And that too, without telling me. This is completely against your nature. When did you start being so caring?
Nasu remained silent. Her silence reflected fear, confusion, and the scene where she had seen Michelle share an umbrella with another girl. When she didn't answer, Michelle said a little more sternly,
Nasu, will you tell me what's going on? And why are you standing here, not moving?
Nasu's inner turmoil could no longer be hidden. She asked in a low voice,
That girl, who was she?
Michelle said without hesitation. It was Ari, my co-worker.
But as soon as she saw the expression on Nasu's face, insecurity, doubt, and a hint of fear, she took a deep breath and asked, Do you really think that everything is based solely on attraction between a boy and a girl? Nasu tried to quickly deny it.
No, that's not what I meant.
But Michelle interrupted her. Okay, calm down. You're overthinking it. She said softly, but clearly. Maybe it's because you have few friends. Or people to talk to. Very few.
Nasu fell even quieter after hearing her words. Because it was true somehow.
Michelle continued. Look, all this wasn't common before. But nowadays, friendships between boys and girls, closeness between co-workers, and various relationships are perfectly normal. He pleaded with her not to say something so embarrassing and walked away, leaving Naijo there in thought.
The Rose Boy's words, that he wanted to know her, still echoed in her ears. It was as if someone slow breathing under an umbrella, a faint whisper that touched the softest part of the heart. Naijo took a few steps forward, then stopped. The umbrella still held her fingers in its cold grip, but warmth had filled her heart. Now she realized she had missed an opportunity. An opportunity that was perhaps meant for her, but she couldn't seize it. The Rose Boy's hesitation, the slight glint in his eyes, and the broken sentence that he wanted to know her kept coming back to her. For the first time, Naijo understood that this wasn't just a chance to talk, but to open her heart.
The next day, both Naijo and her co-worker were exhausted. The co-worker complained
that it wasn't even peak season, yet so many group orders were coming in. She whispered that customers should pay extra for such demands.
Naijo looked at her and calmly told her to rest. She would handle all the orders herself.
Relief momentarily appeared in the worker's eyes.
Grateful, Naijo secretly wished that the day would be quiet, and that no new customers would come, except for Rose's. Seeing Rose's face always filled her with an unknown sense of courage.
Just then, the door opened, and both were startled when Roseboy entered. She gave the co-worker just a brief glance. It seemed almost crazy to the co-worker
That Roseboy had actually come, and that he looked as handsome today as he had last seen her. The worker smiled and said she would be resting, and told the Roseboy to place the order with Nasu.
Instead of ordering, he quietly passed by Nasu, completely ignoring her. Friends, this is where today's chapter ends. The story is about to take an even more interesting turn, and to find out what happens next, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. If you enjoyed this video, Please like it so we can work harder and harder to bring you new episodes.
We can work harder and harder to bring you new episodes.